If you thought chatbots were a big deal, well, you're going to want to buckle up for the next massive leap in AI. We're talking about AI agents. These are autonomous systems that are about to become our new digital teammates. So, what exactly is an AI agent? Well, here's the key. It's software that doesn't just talk, it acts. That's the game changer. A chatbot can answer your questions, sure, but an agent? An agent can take that info and then go do something. Book a flight, organize your calendar, or even write and deploy code for you. They're all about getting things done. And this slide, this really gets to the heart of it. This is a massive paradigm shift. You see, normally we tell our software exactly what to do, step by step. With agents, we're moving away from giving instructions and we're starting to just give goals. We define the what, and the agent itself figures out the how. It's a whole new way of working with technology. But of course, all this new power creates a huge design challenge. And the core dilemma is this. How do you balance an agent's incredible power to handle unexpected things with the predictability we need to actually trust it? It's a real tug of war. This lays out the two extremes perfectly. On one hand, you could go for full autonomy. You get a creative, flexible agent that can handle anything. The problem? It can be totally unpredictable, a real black box. On the other hand, you could use a rigid rule-based structure, super safe, totally reliable, but it's brittle. It breaks the second it sees something it wasn't programmed for. So the big question for every developer in this space is, how do you get the best of both worlds? How do you build an agent that can bend without completely breaking? All right, let's look at how people are actually trying to solve this. And what's really interesting is that we're seeing two different philosophies emerge. One is coming from industry, which is driven by the need to get products out the door right now. The other is a more rigorous approach from academia, which is focused on that long-term safety. So, the industry approach is all about being pragmatic. For something absolutely critical, like a billing event, you lock it down with a rigid, predictable structure. No room for error. But for trying to understand messy, unstructured customer emails, you let an autonomous large language model, an LLM, work its magic. And for those really tricky close call decisions, like whether to issue a big refund, you bring a human into the loop. It's a really clever hybrid model. But what if pretty reliable just isn't good enough? I mean, for safety-critical systems, maybe in finance or healthcare, you need something much closer to a mathematical guarantee of correctness. And this is where that second approach comes in, formal verification. You can think of it like this. You've got a brilliant creative genius, that's the LLM, but you hire a meticulous, hyperlogical accountant to check all of its work. Here's how it works in 3 steps. First, the LLM translates a simple plan, like transfer funds, then close the account, into a very rigid mathematical language. Second, a special parser checks to make sure that translation even makes sense. And third, and this is the magic part, a model checker runs a mathematical proof to verify if the plan could ever fail. And if it finds a flaw, it tells you exactly what went wrong. So here's how that all snaps together. You are literally combining the language understanding flexibility of an LLM with the rock-solid reliability of a deterministic model checker. The result is you get the best of both worlds. You have a system that can understand what a human wants and then mathematically prove that its plan to achieve that is correct. And get this is not just a theory. Research shows that advanced models can hit a 96.3% F1 score, which is a key measure of accuracy in correctly translating these plans. That is an incredibly high level of precision, and it proves this whole academic approach is really, really effective. Okay, so we've seen how to build a trustworthy agent. That's a huge piece of the puzzle. But it's only half the story. The other half is all about our relationship with the agent. You know, how much control do we really want to give up? And this is where some brilliant research from the University of Washington comes in. Their big idea is that autonomy isn't just this inevitable thing that happens as AI gets more capable. Instead, they argue, it's a deliberate design decision that actually defines the roles that we, the users, get to play in the process. So they laid out this super clear 5-level framework. At level 1, you're the operator, you're the pilot, and the agent is your co-pilot. At level 2, you become a collaborator working side by side. Then at level 3, the agent takes the lead. It's a consultant. At level 4, you're basically just an approver. You're signing off on key actions. And finally, at level 5, you are purely an observer, watching the agent work with full autonomy. This framework is so important because it gives all of us a shared language to talk about the stuff in a much more sophisticated way. All right, now that we have a framework for building them and for controlling them, we have to zoom the camera out, way out, and ask the really big question. What happens when millions or even billions of these agents are out there operating in the world? What are the systemic risks? A policy brief from the ACM highlights four major areas of concern. First, economic stability, the potential for huge job displacement as agents become virtual employees. Second, malicious use, everything from autonomous cyber attacks to hyper-personalized scams. Third, a fundamental loss of control if agents start pursuing goals we didn't intend. And finally, real risks to our social well-being, like emotional manipulation and the erosion of human connection. So how in the world do we govern this? Well, one really interesting solution being proposed is something called an autonomy certificate. The idea is that this would be a digital document issued by a trusted third party that certifies the maximum level of autonomy an agent is allowed to have, using that same five-level framework we just saw. So a tool for high-stakes financial trading might be certified for level 3, consultant, but would be forbidden from ever operating at level 5, observer. And this brings us to our final and honestly the most important point of all of this. The level of autonomy we give these systems, it's not some law of physics, it's not inevitable, it is a choice. This quote from those researchers at the University of Washington just nails it. It really captures the core message. We, as developers, as users, as citizens, we get to decide. We can design systems that empower us and collaborate with us without taking away our own agency in the process. So the final question isn't just about the tech. AI agents are coming, that's a given. The real question for all of us is, what roles are we going to design for them? And maybe just as importantly, what roles will we design for ourselves?